Samsung India today announced one of their enterprise-focused tablet, the Galaxy Tab Active, which is touted as a rugged tablet. Now, this comes with a lot of certifications, including the IP67 certification, where it says it's totally dust-proof. Plus, you can keep it under 1 meter of water for a maximum of 30 minutes. It also has acquired the military standard 810 certification, where it did 9 tests and the tablet actually has those features. So, we're going to test it in some harsh condition. We did not exactly go to those particular real life conditions, but we have emulated those in our lab here. So, I'm going to do one test in extreme heat condition, where this tablet is supposed to withstand a heat of up to 60 degrees Celsius. Then I'm going to do a cold testing, where it says the tablet is supposed to withstand up to minus 20 degrees Celsius, and then we'll also put that on top of a vibrator plate, after which the tablet should work normally. So, we're going to start with our heat testing. As you can see, we already have a temperature of over 53 degrees here, approaching towards the maximum temperature that the tablet Active can withstand. Now, we already have kept it for a fair amount of time, and I'm just going to take it out and see whether it actually operates in seems to be operating smoothly and as normal. There is absolutely, no problem in me using this tablet. It also surprisingly does not feel heated up much, mainly because of this very rugged cover here. So, definitely the tablet Active succeeded in our heat testing, and we already are approaching 54 degrees Celsius now. So, now we'll move on to our cold chamber here, where the Galaxy Tab Active is supposed to withstand up to maximum of minus 20 degrees Celsius. It's already sub-zero temperature inside our refrigerator here, and I'll just take it out. It's very, very cold. I've kept the Tab Active for a fair amount of time here. It's very, very cold, but you will see, first of all, the screen is not wet. The Tab Active is not wet from any point in the tablet, so that's a good thing. And then I can still perform all the user interface transaction just like I would normally do. See, everything's, all menu items, everything are responding perfectly here. Of course, you would see slight bit of there. But apart from that, the tablet is behaving absolutely normally. And then we'll move to our vibration plate here. Now, can I have the vibration on? I've removed the cover here, and I'm going to keep the tablet on top of our vibration plate, and we'll see how it responds to the vibration out here. So, now that we have our vibrating plate active here, we'll see whether the Galaxy Tab Active actually is performing normally even while on vibration. So, you see, it's intense vibration really. So, I'm just going to switch off the tablet here. Unlock screen is performing normally. Everything is normal, no problem whatsoever. Fine, you can see all the buttons are performing as expected. So, even our vibrating plate could not deter our Galaxy Tab Active. So, now let's do the water testing. The Galaxy Tab Active has a IP67 certification, which meaning, as far as water is concerned, is that you can keep this device up to a maximum depth of 1 meter for a maximum time of 30 minutes. Well, we haven't exactly kept it for 30 minutes, but roughly about half of the time, and not exactly under 1 meter water, but still we have a jet of water flowing on the device. What I'm trying to show you here is that even after bringing out from the water jet here, the device, whether it performs normally or not. So, I just brought it out of the water jet, and it was there for about 15 minutes now. I'm just going to quickly wipe it off, which you should always do with any devices, whether waterproof or not. So, once I have this all cleaned up, I'm going to try to run this bad boy, and you see it's perfectly working. Everything, all transactions are perfectly fine, and at the time that you generally expect when you use this tablet under normal conditions. Everything is working No part of screen is non-responsive. See, there you go. So perfect. The Galaxy Tab Active also has a military standard 810 certification, and we have four emulations here, kind of simulation of the actual environment where you're going to test this device briefly. So first we have sand. So I'm just going to keep this device here and put sand everywhere. Remember, all these standards are keeping in mind when you accidentally drop this device. Now you should not go and dip this device under 1 meter of sand for 3 days and then try to use it. So these devices are not meant for that, but if you accidentally drop it in areas where there are lots of sand, so that after you take out the device, whether it's still being able to operate normally or not. That's what we're going to check here, and see, perfectly fine. Are working just about fine, although you have all sand going in between those buttons. Of course you can clean it up later. I'm going to do that exactly, but as far as the functionality goes, everything is perfectly normal. The second environment we have here is the salt water. In case of places where, let's say if you're walking near the beaches and other places where you have saltwater lakes and all, in that conditions, I've just kept it here. And salt water can really erode all elements much faster than your usual water. So I'm just going to again drip the water off here. And although I'm relatively wet, even the tablet is, but you can see still it's actually performing very normally. So of course you need to wipe this off a little more, but you can see all the transactions are happening as expected. So again, normal. After salt water is the ice water. So we are not letting the Galaxy Tab Active go without giving us all the tests. So ice water is for situations where, let's say you're walking under sub-zero conditions, maybe high up the mountains, maybe you're military and you have to walk day in and day out in those very harsh conditions. So there was ice water, and I'm again, just like before, going to wipe the screen off, and rest of the body I'll wipe a little later, but first I'll show you whether it performs normally. They see perfectly fine. Again, the Galaxy Tab Active is really going to take all that you can throw in it. They see everything is just about perfect. Yep. Our last environment simulation is Sawdust. So I'm just going to put it in Sawdust and place sawdust all over it. There you go, totally almost buried, and then we'll see how it performs. So just for the sake of beauty, I'm gonna wipe the front part off. You might have to clean up the sawdust from in between the buttons and ports and stuff, but the inner housing, the inner mechanism, all seems to be working normally, and every part of the display just working normally. See, the top part, the bottom part here, even in the middle, is responding as you would expect from using it under normal condition. The spec sheet of the Galaxy Tab Active says you can drop it from a height of 1.2 meter with the cover on and from 1 meter without the cover on. I have the cover on here, and I'm just gonna drop it from a height of 1.2 meter, at least try to do so, and we'll see whether I can break the device or whether it still performs normally even after the drop. Now remember, these devices are not to play. So this is meant for only when you drop it unintentionally, and that's why that height of 1.2 meter, it's carefully thought, and 1.2 meter is roughly about just over your waist height where you generally use the tablet. So let's say I'm just gonna walk on the tablet here, and I'm just gonna walking, and then suddenly I drop it. Now I'll just gonna see whether it's still there. So you can see here, there's not a sign of break or mark anywhere on the tablet. The screen is perfectly fine. I'm just gonna just press in, and I might have to switch this on. Let's first see the screen here. You won't see a single mark on the screen, so it actually withstood all the fall quite nicely. And I'm just gonna switch it on to see whether it still performs normally. Perfect, gives us the warning. We have all covered, and then you can see it's actually performing very cool, absolutely normally whatsoever. So the Galaxy Tab Active survived our drop test from a respectable height, from a height of about 1.2 meter.